Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Grow Through It podcast. My name is Julia, and today I wanted to talk about how to become a morning person. I was never really a morning person. I hated waking up early. I really struggled to get out of bed, and I'd be tired when I woke up. Even now, I'm not always super energetic in the mornings. I have good days and bad days. However, I am able to get out of bed much earlier and have found ways to start my day on a better note. I am still learning and it's not always perfect, but I wanted to share my tips on how to feel more rested in the mornings and wake up earlier so you can have more time in your day. For me, since I typically don't start work until around noon, there isn't really a major reason for me to get up. However, I am also not off work until 9 p.m. some nights, so I don't have much time after work to get stuff done. So I have to get up earlier so that I can do the things I need to do before work. For most people, they have to get up for work. But depending on your schedule, there is still so much value in getting up even earlier to start your day right. I know when I sleep in or if I wake up and have to go to work right away, I am so much more tired. I feel tired for the rest of the day. But when I wake up and do my morning routine and get things accomplished and move my body before work, I feel so much more energized and clear headed throughout my whole day. So, how you start your day is extremely important. A good start to the morning brings you energy, clarity, and momentum. I am able to go for a walk, do my workout or physio, get some work done or read my book, meditate, journal, clean up the house a bit. I get all of that done before work. When I do those things right in the morning, I feel much more aligned and I am more productive and have more energy throughout the day. I am able to do my job better because of it, and I'm able to be a better partner because of it. I can use my evenings after work to spend time with Paul instead of rushing to get things done. I also know that when I used to work regular hours, by the time I got home, I would not have the energy or motivation to get things done. I was exhausted from work and just wanted to chill out. I know not everyone is like that, but again, having a morning routine adds so much value to your life. Even if it doesn't look like mine, and if you want more detail about my morning routine, you can listen to episode 23. There are still small things you can do before you start your workday. Go for a 10-minute walk, get out your journal, do a 5-minute meditation, do a quick stretch, drink your water, take your vitamins. Whatever it is, be intentional about it. I have heard many people who, again, work regular hours that want to wake up earlier to have more time in their day, but they struggle with sticking to it and forcing themselves out of bed. So let's talk about how you can get better about this. First, you need to create a solid nighttime routine. Again, I talked about this in episode 23, so listen to that for more details, but I will share my nighttime routine here too. This is so crucial if you want to wake up earlier and more refreshed. So, some of my winding down practices include reading, journaling, sometimes a meditation, and I sometimes do self Reiki. I try not to go on my phone before bed, but sometimes that doesn't always happen. I do, however, not use my phone after I read. I try and make sure I don't see a screen after I've already read, except to put on my sleep playlist. I usually go to bed between 10:30 and 11:30. Ideally, I'd like to go to sleep at 10:30, but it can be difficult sometimes when I don't even get home until 9:15 from work. But if I am getting up at 5:30, I really try and get to sleep by 10:30 so that I get 7 hours of sleep. If I don't get up until 6:30, then I can go to bed by 11 or 11:30. However, I try my best to keep it consistent. It's definitely not perfect right now, though. I think for me, though, between 6.5 to 8 hours of sleep is great. I usually aim for about 7, and I feel pretty well rested most mornings with 7 hours. But everyone is different. Some people need less, some people need more. So find what works best for you. I also use sleep frequencies the entire night. I use the podcast on Spotify called 8 Hours Sleep Music, and I just play that throughout the whole night. I also run really hot while I sleep, so I have to have a fan on me and usually the window open. I find when I'm really hot, I do not sleep well. I can't fall asleep or stay asleep. So even though I'm a bit cold when I fall asleep with the fan or window open, I sleep so much better. We also have curtains that aren't quite blackout curtains, but pretty close. So making these small adjustments has actually helped significantly. Taking magnesium before bed has also been a game changer. As someone who used to struggle a lot with sleep, I had to do a lot of different testing to see what worked and what didn't. All of these things combined have helped me, and if I don't do one of them, my sleep isn't as good. So find what works for you, but I do know sleep frequencies help a lot. Making sure it's dark and there's no light coming in, especially TV light, is super important. Magnesium is proven to help with sleep, and making sure your body temperature is cold enough is crucial. This might sound random, but minimizing what you wear to bed can also help regulate your body temperature and improve your sleep. Too many layers can actually disrupt your rest. There are a couple things I avoid at nighttime as well, in addition to screen time. I also try not to eat right before bed, unless, of course, I get off work at 9 and still have to eat dinner. But if I can eat dinner earlier, I try not to eat right before bed. I've heard not eating for 3 hours before bed is ideal, but honestly, I think everyone is different, and this is not always practical. Another thing I avoid is having emotional conversations. This has happened before, and I never sleep well after. I am thinking about the conversation instead of falling asleep. I also know that watching or listening to something suspenseful before bed can disrupt your sleep because your anxiety is higher. I've also never tried this, but I have heard that squeezing your muscles really hard and then relaxing and repeating it a couple times helps relax you and helps you fall asleep faster. I'm interested in trying this one for sure. Sometimes when I am having trouble falling asleep, I'll either do self Reiki, breathing exercises, or literally just tell myself over and over that it's time to sleep and time to relax. It's actually been really helpful. Also, I tend to have racing thoughts while I'm trying to fall asleep, but I have found that when I tell Paul about my day and talk to him about all the things I want to talk about, I have less racing thoughts. If you don't have someone to do this with, you can journal it. Get all your thoughts out on paper so they aren't lingering in your mind. Sometimes things will still come up while I'm trying to sleep, and if they do and they won't go away, I write them down either on paper or in my phone, and then I instantly don't think about them anymore. So that is what I do at nighttime. Like I said, your night routine is essential if you want to wake up feeling more energized. Here is a quick summary of my go-to sleep tips. Create a wind down routine with reading or journaling, avoid screens before bed, use sleep frequencies, keep your room cool with a fan or open window, darken your space, take magnesium before bed, avoid late night meals and emotional conversations, offload racing thoughts, and try the muscle relaxation practice I suggested. Now let's get into how I make my mornings easier. First thing is I always set things up the night before. I have in my calendar exactly what I have to do the next day with reminders if necessary. I lay my clothes out and I make sure the kitchen is clean. If you don't want to put everything into your calendar, do a brain dump the day or night before of everything you need to do the next day. Pick the top 3 things you have to get done, and if you get the others done too, that's great, but don't overwhelm yourself. This helps you be more organized and not waste time in the mornings. Setting out your clothes is also extremely helpful. I've been going for walks right in the morning, and sometimes when my alarm goes off, I don't want to get up. However, I will say when I lay my clothes out, I am much more likely to get out of bed. There has been 2 times since I started going for these walks that I didn't put my clothes out, and both of those days I snoozed my alarm and didn't get up when I wanted to. You have to just make things as easy as possible for you. Making sure the kitchen is clean is also super important for me. I don't want to get up and see a messy kitchen first thing in the morning. Again, it wastes time because then I have to clean it and I feel disorganized. I also make sure I have a more gentle alarm than a strict one. I remember Paul used to have this horrendous alarm when we first got together, And I think it was Jocko Willink giving this speech about getting up and getting out of bed. And I remember waking up every morning and it made me so mad. But for him, it worked. So find what works best for you. Since then, he has changed his alarm, by the way. For me, I need to have a more gentle alarm that eases me up. On my Amazon wish list, I actually have a sunrise alarm clock on there. It's like the Hatch one, but a little bit of a cheaper version, and the reviews are really good. So I really want to get that at some point because it wakes you up to really soothing sounds and to gentle light that mimics natural light. One thing I do love is when I get out of bed, I love opening the curtains in my room and letting the light come in. I can only do this when Paul is already up, which during the week doesn't happen because I get up before him, but when I can do it, I love it. If it's during the week, I go downstairs and open the curtains in the kitchen and living room. Seeing natural light first thing in the morning helps you wake up, and it's even better if you can get outside and have the sun directly on you. So before I go on my walk, I have to do a couple things first. First, I read a passage from The Pivot Year by Brianna Wiest. Then I write in my gratitude journal and I stretch. I have to stretch before my walk or I get way too sore. So all of these things combined only takes about 10 minutes. I also avoid my phone for the first hour after waking up. The only time I use it is to put on a podcast to listen to for my walk. I often like to listen to my own thoughts in the morning though, so sometimes I don't listen to anything. Lately though, I've needed a bit of a distraction from everything going on in my life, so I've been listening to a lot of personal development or business podcasts. Make sure if you're going to listen to something right in the morning that it's something positive and helpful. So after all of this, I go for my walk. And let me tell you, that has been a game changer. If I were to roll out of bed and try and start working right away, I would be exhausted. That just does not work for me, but I know it works for some other people. So I go for my walk, and I'm going to be honest, like the first 10 minutes of my walk, I look miserable. If you walk past me on my walk and I don't notice you, it probably looks like I'm having a horrible time. But once I get walking a little bit longer, I feel so much better. I am so much more energized and I'm ready to start my day. So it takes me a little bit of time, but walking really wakes me up. So if you haven't tried that, I would highly recommend it, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes, but I go for half an hour. Let's do a quick recap of my morning hacks. Set things up the night before, like a calendar, your clothes, and a clean kitchen. Use a gentle alarm or sunrise clock. Open the curtains to let in natural light. Do a mini ritual like reading a passage from a book, writing in your gratitude journal, or stretching. Avoid using your phone for the first hour, and start small with habits like walking or journaling. Next, let's talk a bit about discipline versus motivation. You cannot rely on motivation alone to get you out of bed. No one wants to leave their warm bed at 5:30 in the morning. It's very hard to do. You have to get disciplined in doing what you said you were going to do. This will build trust with yourself by proving to yourself that you are the type of person to get up and get things done. Make yourself get up, and I promise you will feel so much better that you did. Knowing how much more I'm accomplishing in the morning when I get up early motivates me to keep doing it. But I have to remind myself of that in the morning. I tell myself, if you don't get up, you won't get this done today, and you made a promise to yourself that you would. This helps shift my mindset. I also know how I feel when I do snooze my alarm, so that is also another piece that helps me get up because I don't want to feel that way for the rest of the day. So make sure you're noticing how you're feeling when you do certain things. This can really help you to stay on track with your habits. The more you do this, the more results you will see, and it will be easier as time goes on. If your sleep schedule is really chaotic right now and you go to bed super late and sleep in, it will take some time to adjust. What I personally do is work my way up to getting up earlier and going to bed earlier. So previously, I would maybe get up at like 8 a.m. So I started by getting up a half an hour earlier, then kept repeating it until I got to 5:30. When I was getting up at 8 a.m. and going to bed around 11, that gave me 9 hours of sleep, which I really didn't need. However, if you're going to bed right now at like 2 a.m., you will also need to work your way up to going to bed earlier as well. Now, there will be off days or things out of your control that will make this a little harder for you. Maybe you have a baby who gets up several times during the night. Of course, this cannot be avoided and you cannot control it. All you can do is do the best you can. Do your night routine and everything you can to get a good sleep and have a good morning. But also, if you need more sleep and you can find it, take it. There have also been some days where I wake up and I'm absolutely exhausted. What I do in these cases is I get up anyway and I start my morning routine. Many times I can work through it and I feel better. But if I still feel really exhausted and just off while I'm doing my morning routine, I know I need more sleep. And if I have time to sleep a bit longer, I allow myself that time. I get back into bed and sleep for another hour. I always listen to my body, and if it's telling me I need more rest, I listen. However, if I were to make that decision while I was still in bed, I would probably always sleep in. I have to get out of bed and at least try. Then I can make a better decision. So remember, waking up earlier is a process. Start small and don't beat yourself up if you're struggling with it. It takes time and discipline, but it is so worth it. Start by asking yourself why you want to get up earlier. Write down all the reasons why and all the things you want to accomplish in a day. You can even have this list on your bedside table to remind yourself on harder mornings. Then figure out what time you would have to wake up to allow yourself enough time to get everything done. This might change as well depending on the season you're in. I think normally for me getting up at 6 or 6:30 would be good, but because I'm so busy right now and I'm trying to get things done by a certain date, I have to wake up a bit earlier. So find what time works best for you. Then work your way up to it. Create your own nighttime routine, sleep routine, and morning routine to make waking up easier for you. You don't have to follow exactly what I do, but I would suggest trying these things out because I have taken all of these ideas from experts and they truly do work. The Huberman Lab podcast has amazing episodes all about sleep you can listen to as well. Becoming a morning person isn't about perfection, it's about intention. When you give your mornings purpose, you give your life momentum. Start small, stay consistent, and be kind to yourself along the way. That is it for today's episode. I really hope it helps you become a better morning person. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. You can find me at growthroughit.pod. If you enjoyed this episode, I would be so grateful if you would rate, review, follow, or subscribe, and share with someone you think would benefit from it. You can suggest future topic ideas or ask questions using the anonymous link in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening, and remember that you are worthy. See you next time.